The political landscape of the United States has witnessed a seismic shift in recent years, with the rise of former President Donald Trump's MAGA, Make America Great Again movement fundamentally altering the fabric of American politics. For many, Trump's policies and promises were a beacon of hope, offering a sense of rebellion against what was perceived as the swamp of Washington, D.C., and a move away from establishment politics. But now, as Trump edges closer to another presidential run, cracks are beginning to show in the once unwavering support of his loyal followers. Across the nation, there's a growing wave of disillusionment among those who once considered themselves staunch Trump supporters. From frustrated voters questioning Trump's cabinet picks to MAGA fans grappling with the social and personal fallout of their political allegiance, the movement is facing an identity crisis. "Have we been duped?" is the increasingly common refrain echoing across conservative circles. This video takes a deep dive into the turmoil unfolding within the MAGA camp as the former president's controversial picks and shifting policies spark a wave of discontent and reflection. The cracks in the MAGA armor, cabinet picks, and policy shifts. One of the biggest sources of frustration among Trump supporters has been his cabinet appointments, which seem to reflect a growing alignment with the very establishment figures that MAGA voters had once rejected. Take, for example, the selection of Marco Rubio as a potential Secretary of State. Rubio, a senator with a long history of interventionist foreign policies and ties to neoconservative factions, has been a lightning rod for criticism from within the Trump base. Dave Smith, a prominent Trump-supporting comedian, voiced his dismay, calling Rubio a disaster and likening his appointment to bringing in Liz Cheney to oversee foreign diplomacy, an accusation that resonates with many in the MAGA movement who champion Trump's America First agenda. This frustration doesn't end with Rubio. The selection of other individuals such as Elise Stefanik, Mike Waltz, and Peter Hegseth, all of whom have been labeled as warhawks with deep ties to the D.C. establishment, has led to growing anger from Trump's most ardent followers. These figures, while prominent in conservative circles, are seen by many as emblematic of the very forces Trump vowed to dismantle. A post on the popular MAGA account Wall Street Silver encapsulated the widespread discontent, questioning why Trump would nominate someone like Rubio, whom they view as a pro-war establishment figure. Moreover, Glenn Greenwald, a journalist known for his left-leaning yet critical stance on U.S. foreign policy, pointed out the stark contrast between Trump's rhetoric and his cabinet selections. Greenwald noted that Trump's recent appointees are fully aligned with the worst prongs of bipartisan D.C. consensus, leaving many former supporters to wonder if their political hero had become just another cog in the wheel of American imperialism. The fallout of Trump's foreign policy stance, a shift toward neoconservatism. Trump's appointments seem to signal a dramatic shift in his foreign policy stance, particularly regarding the Middle East. His selection of figures like Mike Huckabee to be U.S. ambassador to Israel has left many wondering if Trump is now fully embracing the hawkish policies of Israel's most extreme proponents. Huckabee, a staunch supporter of Israel's right to annex Gaza and the West Bank, represents a complete departure from the peace through strength rhetoric that Trump espoused during his first term. As more details emerge about these appointments, many former Trump supporters who are drawn to his promises of peace and non-intervention are now feeling betrayed. RFK Jr. supporters, in particular, are voicing their disillusionment, with one commenter on an RFK subreddit openly asking, "Have we been duped?" They had hoped that Trump would deliver on his promise of ending endless wars, but instead, it appears that his administration may push policies that are closely aligned with the neoconservative agenda. This shift in foreign policy priorities has had serious implications for Trump's standing within the MAGA movement. The idea that Trump might be pushing for the annexation of Palestinian territories or escalating U.S. involvement in the Israel-Palestine conflict is deeply troubling to a base that once believed he was the anti-war candidate. The personal and social fallout, MAGA voters facing the consequences. As Trump's policies evolve and his administration's choices become more controversial, the personal toll on his supporters has become undeniable. Across social media platforms, stories of strained friendships, divorces, and fractured families have become all too common. MAGA voters who once rallied around Trump are now dealing with the emotional fallout of their political allegiance. Nancy Rodas, a viewer of the Midas Touch Network, shared her story of divorcing her MAGA-supporting husband, citing the widening rift in their values as a key factor in their separation. Another commenter revealed that she had broken off her engagement with her pro-Trump fiancé, who would use the argument, "We need to respect our differences," as a way of manipulating her into tolerating his support for a man she viewed as morally compromised. These personal stories reflect a larger societal trend of people distancing themselves from loved ones who support Trump, especially as the political divide deepens. Divorce lawyers are reporting an uptick in cases, with one even noting 14 potential new clients over the span of just 3 days, despite November traditionally being a slow month for divorce filings. This increasing trend of personal breakups is a direct consequence of the increasingly polarizing nature of Trump's political influence. People are no longer simply disagreeing over policy, they are severing ties over what they perceive as a betrayal of basic moral principles. The fallout extends beyond personal relationships, as many MAGA supporters are now confronting the economic implications of their political affiliations. Small business owners who openly supported Trump have found themselves in hot water, with customers refusing to patronize their stores due to their political views. One business owner in a blue state shared her frustration after her customers stopped shopping at her store following her vocal support for Trump's victory. Her attempt to backpedal by asserting that all businesses, regardless of political affiliation, deserve support, fell flat in the face of growing economic and social consequences. The growing divisions. Is there a path back for Trump's supporters? Despite the turmoil, not all is lost for Trump's base. Some have acknowledged the disillusionment and the need for change. Mike, a commenter, shared his decision to vote for Joe Biden in the 2020 election, not because of family pressure or external expectations, but because he believed it was the right thing to do for the dignity and respect of all people. His story serves as a powerful reminder that even within the MAGA movement, there are those who are reevaluating their positions, looking for a path forward that aligns more with their values. The sense of moral outrage that is causing some former Trump supporters to walk away from him is also driving others to reconsider their place in the movement. Some are realizing that the ideological battles they've been fighting may not be worth the personal and social consequences they now face. As the truth about Trump's foreign policy and personal moral compass continues to unfold, it's clear that the fallout from his presidency is far from over. Trump supporters are at a crossroads. The disillusionment and chaos currently unfolding within the MAGA movement are a direct result of the internal contradictions that have plagued Donald Trump's political career. What began as a movement driven by promises of economic prosperity and an end to foreign entanglements has now become a source of personal and political anguish for many. As Trump's policies become increasingly aligned with the very forces he once claimed to oppose, his supporters are left grappling with a stark question: have we been duped? For those still clinging to the belief that Trump represents a break from the establishment, the reality is beginning to set in. As the movement splinters and personal lives are torn apart, it's clear that the dream of an America First, non-interventionist president is quickly slipping away. Whether or not Trump's base can come to terms with this shift, and whether they will ultimately abandon ship, remains to be seen. One thing is certain, though. The story of Trump's rise and fall is far from over, and the chaos within his supporter base is only just beginning to unfold.